All right, thank you so much, Joel. Let's now cross back to Liesel at the National Arts Festival. It really is a beautiful festival in Makhanda in the Eastern Cape. I mean, it really is a gathering of the collective heartbeat of South African creativity. So many performances we've seen for the past 3 hours or so, and we're going to show you just another performance and we cross back to Makhanda.
Literally down the road.
Well, as you can see, the activities continue here live from the National Arts Festival in Makhanda. We have the Makhanda Kwantu Choir. They're serenading us throughout the morning. You can hear them humming in the background, of course, giving a little teaser of what we can expect as that festival continues. But we continue to also just look at the evolution of this festival and, of course, the artists that continue to contribute not only to this, festival, but obviously to South Africa's cultural musical arts landscape. We saw the passing of Feya Faku, of course, who hailed from New Brighton, which is here in the Eastern Cape province. The impact, his contribution to the jazz fraternity would have had, of course, incorporating, traditional rhythmic elements and really from, the Eastern Cape to the world stage, how we continue to pay tribute to his life and time. So for that conversation, I'm going to be joined by Unathi Nkayi. She's obviously a musician, well-known, a beloved celebrity and personality here from our own home soil, daughter of the soil, joining us. Good morning. And we've also got Kutlwano Kepadisa, or Kepa. He's the choir master from the Makhanda Kwantu Choir. Good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
It's been an illustrious journey to get here, and I know that we're reflecting on where we come from, but also where we're headed, right? So I'm going to start, Unathi, with you and reflect on Feya Faku. I mean, you're from the Eastern Cape, you're from Makhanda itself, but him having hailed from New Brighton to the world stage, looking at his contribution, the impact, how you take that baton on from what he's managed to encompass throughout his life and times. Tell us how you reflect on that.
I think the beautiful thing is that we're a singing nation. As you can hear behind us, we've got the Makhanda Kwantu Choir, and Feya was just an example of that. It's beautiful to have beacons. It's beautiful to have people who walk and live the culture, yes. And it's a great loss to the music industry. But as you said, we take on his flag, Anditi. Yes. We fly it high, and we continue the legacy of music and telling our stories sonically.
Absolutely, and it's about that agency and representation and inclusivity. Tell us what the incorporation of traditional xhosa, even just traditional sounds that really enhance that experience, especially because we're on the Eastern Cape province.
We are. It's the melodies that our mothers raised us with, the melodies that they used to sing to us as we used to suckle their breasts, the melodies that our grandmothers used when we used to walk with them to go pick up cow dung to lay on our floors when we didn't have tiles. So it's the music of our life. It's the times, it's the melodies, and it's, the moment they started humming, we were all on some, that's so beautiful, because that's what it resonates. It resonates our souls, our spirits as an African people, and that's how we communicate, through song.
Oh, it took us home.
It did.
Now, Kepa, you're the choir master, and you've been leading us, throughout the morning. You've literally brought this place alive, and we're looking forward to the rest of the program unfolding. Tell us about, the choir, your journey, but the collaborations. Your Standard Bank Young Artist Award winners preferring to work with you. You're working with the Philharmonic Orchestra as well. Those are huge feats. So tell us about that journey as you continue to prepare for the rest of the program.
Thank you. With the Kwantu Choir that's hailed here from Makhanda, we're about 8 years old this year. And what we just love sharing music, and we love collaborating. And it's been a real privilege for us to be here in Makhanda, because it's granted us that opportunity, first at Masikule, and then about 2-3 years ago, we started working with young artists. So we worked with Msaki, we worked with Zoe Mudicha. This year we're working with Dimza Maswana. And then for the first time this year, as a choir, we're bringing an orchestral production about the Freedom Charter, which is turning 70 years old. And it's such an important document for all of us as South Africans to unite together, to come together as diverse people in unity.
So. No, absolutely. We're looking at the Youth Month, which is observed this June, and to your point, about 70 years since the Freedom Charter. What has been realized, but also the gaps that continue, and even just the contribution to the creative sector, how that's regulated, the abuses that happen there, but also just how we can continue to use it as a platform to amplify our voices. Do you want to reflect on that journey as well?
Yeah, for us, the creative city Makhanda has been been the place in which we found our identity. And we've been really blessed to have the guidance of the National Arts Festival, to have the guidance of practitioners like Jen Snowball, who runs the Cultural Observatory, to learn about what are the do's and don'ts, to learn about copyright. We know that there's a lot of people who like to exploit artists, and for us to be able to gather that knowledge, to be able to stand up for ourselves is so important, I think, for us as artists.
Yeah, Feya Faku, just before I bring Unathi back in, I mean, he's from the Eastern Cape, but I wonder if there was an opportune moment that you would have had to perhaps be part of the workshops or interact with him, even if you just look at the ripple effects of his work, how that would have impacted the youth here. Any examples or experiences or memories that come to the fore for you?
Yeah, I think for us, we haven't really worked with Feya Faku, but we can see his impact, especially some of our people come from a project in Makhanda called the Access Music Project, which learns South African music, which includes people like Feya Faku. So we are really influenced by his writing, by his compositions, by his singing, and it's very evident, especially in the music here that we find with us.
Yeah, well, Unathi, speaking about, Kepa's point about identity and really just the creative sector at large. I mean, you hail from Makhanda. You've also penned thoughts to paper through your own memoir. And I wonder if you reflect back on your journey as an artist, the impact that your hometown would have had on where you are, but also where you're headed. What's reflected through your works?
I mean, as a child, my aunt, Unathi Nkayi, and my uncle, Nkayi, would literally walk me from my home in the township, and we would walk because we didn't have money. We would walk all the way from the township. I can point to my family home from here, and we'd walk into town, and we'd save money just to see the shows. And obviously that nurtured me and that shaped me as a child, because as a child at Victoria Girls High School, who can't afford to come to the festival, my aunt and uncle and my father and my mom, we would walk down and spend money on the production. So obviously for me, the dream of expressing myself artistically is something that has been ingrained in me. We say Singanqingebele, I suckled it from my mother's breast, and that's Grahamstown. It's an artistic city. It is a very expressive city. Everybody here is in a wonderful bubble where we feel safe to express ourselves, to discover our voices. It's a beautiful place to discover your voice because there's so much encouragement, there's so much nurturing. I mean, can you hear them? I'm like, it's so early in the morning and their voices are so beautiful. Yeah. And that's what Makhanda has been for all of us. I wouldn't be where I am and who I am if I wasn't born here, if I wasn't raised by the spirits, if I wasn't nursed and nurtured here. Yeah.
And speaking about nursed and nurtured, just as we wrap up, because obviously Vanya Mangaliso passed away, and we can't ignore the contributors, along our journey. Dr. Jerry Mofokeng was reading your memoir in the plane, and he was saying there's always that one spark, that person that tips you over, reminds you, and unearths that magic that's inside of you. Yeah. Tell us about your journey with Vanya and what this means for the industry as we wrap.
What a beautiful woman, a woman who gave me my identity. She allowed me to find myself and define myself artistically. She always told me, Unathi, always remember that you're a walking canvas, and wherever you go, you're representing us. So she gave me the pride to be unapologetically Xhosa. She gave me the pride to be unapologetically African couture, African luxury. And she believed in me in a time when nobody wanted to dress me. Lo Roach always speaks about Zendaya in the beginning phases when nobody wanted to dress her. Vanya was my Lo Roach, and she embraced me when people told me that I looked dirty. Me, dreadlocks, So a lot of the fashion houses were like, she's not quite our girl, even though now they're all on, so we want to dress you. Vanya was my Lo Roach, and she allowed me to discover who I was as a young woman, a woman before kids, during kids, after kids. So many evolutions, many milestones that I celebrated with Vanya, and I'm going to miss her, and I'm sad that she's left us, but her legacy will continue through her clothes. I have all my clothes archived. All my friends were calling me yesterday, Unathi, your son got that stuff. I'm like, it's in my archives and it's still there. Bags, shoes, gowns. My new music video actually coming out in September. I'm wearing a San Goddess gown that she made for me in 2006. So I pulled out a vintage piece for that. So that's coming out in September.
Well, long live the spirit of Vanya, long live the spirit of Feya Faku, of course. Also, as that baton's now been handed over, we've heard from industry heavyweights here, Unathi Nkayi, chatting about her own personal journey, the impact some of these artists would have had on them. Kepa leading as choir master for the Makhanda Kwantu Choir here. They've been serenading us, and we continue to bring you all this live action as the National Arts Festival ensues.